What is up, YouTube? This is Chris, the Unprofessional Dad. I'm back with another knife video. I've got a good one tonight. I've got one that's going to be fun. It's not going to be too long or drawn out. It's not going to be spent going over blade lengths and materials for the most part, different things like that. This is going to be a little bit different. I hope you enjoy it. Before I get into that, though, I want to tell everybody how much I appreciate you all stopping by, clicking on my video, checking to see what I've got going on. If you're somebody that's stopping by for the first time, welcome. Thank you. I'm very, very appreciative of the fact that you did click on my video and you're checking out and listening to what I've got to say. If you stick around for a few minutes more, I will tell you about a huge contest that I've got going on right now. Anybody that's been with me from the beginning, that you watch my videos pretty consistently, like always, I'm humbled and I'm extremely grateful. Thank you. I love the engagement that I'm getting with you guys right now, the comments that people are leaving on my videos, my 3 knife challenges and stuff like that, the way that you all are watching my videos, giving me some likes, getting some subscribers. That is super cool. I mean, just not long ago, I didn't think I would be able to get 10 subscribers, and I'm almost to, I don't know what I am right now, but I'll be at 150 soon, and I've said it all along. I used to tell people this when I was in sales: if you can sell 1, you can sell 100. If you can sell 10, you can sell 1,000. If you can sell 100, you can sell 1,000,000. At some point, it's just a process of work and time. And if I can get to 100 subscribers, I can dang sure get to 1,000 with your all's help. So thank you very much. I'm humbled. I appreciate it. And you also don't know how much this means to me, because I am a full-time dad of some great little kids that I'm super fortunate and blessed to have in my life. And it's the honor of my life to be their father. I've got 6 kids. A daughter is my oldest, and then I've got 5 boys. One's in the military right now, and then I've got 4 between the ages of 2 and 9 that I'm a full-time dad of. Every day, my day consists of getting kids on buses and doing homework and wiping noses and changing diapers and things like that. So this YouTube channel is really important to me. It's my way of having an outlet and a way to vent, the way to communicate, the way to talk to like-minded people. I've said this before, but I just want to say it one more time because I am so appreciative of this, guys, of the time that you give me and just listening to me and allowing me the opportunity to ramble on about things that I find important to myself. And, if one day I do get to where I'm actually getting some 1,000 subscribers or something like that, and, and I can actually do this as a way of, really having fun and talking to a lot of people and talking to people about knives that they might not have ever seen or heard of before, or educating somebody about a knife skill that they didn't know about, anything like that. It's just a huge honor and opportunity, and I greatly appreciate that. Now, saying that, let me just really quick remind everybody I've got a huge contest going on right now. Anybody that wants to be a part of this can be a part of this. On January the 3rd, 2025, I'm going to be giving away a $200 budget to Blade HQ. The winner gets to go onto Blade HQ and spend $200 however they see fit. If there's a knife that they want, it's theirs. If there's a couple knives that they want and it fits under that $200 budget, they're theirs. Whatever they want to do, however they want to spend it, it's on me and on the Unprofessional Dad's channel as a way of saying thank you. Now, how do you enter? It's real simple. All you've got to do is like one of my videos, subscribe to my channel, and leave a comment on any of my videos at all. As long as that video, or that comment, as long as that comment is knife related. It can be a story about a knife interaction that you had, or a story with your grandfather or your dad or your brother or your mother or whatever, how knives were a part of your relationship or a life, or your first experience with knives. It can be a story about a knife that you're wanting to get, you're hoping to get, you're saving up to get. Anything, I don't care what it is, as long as it's knife related, the comment qualifies. And so far, I've had some excellent comments. I've had some really good questions. I've had people that have literally commented on things, and then 5 minutes later, they'll be like, oh, well, I just got to that part of the video, so, never mind. people will mention knives and stuff and not realize that in the very video that they're watching, that knife, that very knife will come up. That's literally happened. I've talked to people from New Zealand. I got a good buddy in Australia that I've been talking to on here. Really means a lot to me, the conversations that we've had. So I appreciate it, guys. I know I'm rambling, but I do that a lot. You guys know that. Anybody that's been with me for since the beginning, you guys know that I like to talk to you all. I like to engage with you all, tell you what I'm thinking and stuff. All right, so having said that, remember, like, subscribe, and leave a comment on any of my videos, and you are entered. And January the 3rd, 2025, I'm going to try to go live. I've been having trouble. I haven't been able to go live yet. I don't know if YouTube's verifying my channel or what they're doing, but it won't let me go live for some reason. I'm trying to work that out. But I'm going to go live on January 3rd, 2025 if I can, and I'm going to do the whole process right there on live so you all can watch, and the winner will be announced and everything else. If not, then I will record the process of me doing the process and announcing a winner and everything else. And I can't wait to do that and for that day. I also can't wait for that person, whoever it is, to get that knife or knives and to share it with me in the community of people that watch my videos. It's going to be really, really exciting for me and hopefully everyone else. All right, so what this video is, it's real simple. I just came up with a couple categories. I came up with what's my favorite knife that I own, what's the most sentimental knife, different things like that. So I'm going to go down the line. I'm going to tell you what the category is, and then I'm going to tell you what knife it is. I thought about doing runner-ups, but I was like, no, I'm not doing that. I don't want to go as long as I usually do. Now in this, I won't have any blade lengths or weights or anything like that, like I normally do when I give in-depth analysis of a blade. So I'm not going to have that in this. I will give you blade steels and handle materials, but that's going to be pretty much the extent of it. All right, so the very first category is, what knife do I own that is most sentimental to me? And hands down, it's no question at all, it's one knife. It is the most sentimental knife that I own, and it means a lot to me, and it is this Spyderco Endura 4. Now this is a Knife Center exclusive. I either have a lot of Knife Center exclusives, Blade HQ exclusives, different things like that. This is a Knife Center exclusive. It's the Endura 4. It's the lockback system. It has a Damascus blade with the VG10 core. It has black Pack-A-Wood scales, and it's got all the great typical things about the Spyderco, where it's got the 4-position pocket clip and different things like that. It's a gorgeous knife. It's really, really pretty, this knife is. Black Pack-A-Wood, that Damascus, the VG10 core. I don't know if y'all can see that core there in the middle, that streak that goes down the middle. I mean, look at that thing. That is gorgeous. Now, why is this the most sentimental knife? I'm going to tell you why this is the most sentimental knife for me. I started collecting knives and taking it serious. And my significant other, my children's mom, my 4 little boys' mother, she knew how important knives were to me. She did not tell me at all or anything like that. And without saying anything, I had a few higher end knives that were worth a couple $100 and stuff like that, but I just started getting into it, so I didn't have a lot and I didn't know a whole lot, and I had no idea that she was going to do this. But she went on to Knife Center and she just wanted to buy me something special and to contribute to my knife collecting, and tell me, because she knew I didn't really have a lot of hobbies, and she wanted to, she was glad that I did have a hobby that I was actually putting some time and effort into. And she got this knife for me. I was blown away by it. Actually, tell you a funny story. I went on, she ended up breaking down and telling me that she got a knife for me. She didn't tell me what it was, but I actually knew that she had went to Knife Center and stuff because I had seen it on the phone. And I was looking through Knife Center at all these different knives, hundreds and hundreds of knives. And she's like, what are you doing? I was like, oh, I'm just checking out knives. I'm just checking out knives. And there was a couple knives that I pointed out that I really, really liked. and she was standing there waiting, and she didn't say a word to me. And this was one of the knives that caught my eye because of the way that it looked, and the blade and the Damascus, and it was just so pretty, and it was sharp looking, and I really liked it. And I pointed out, I was like, man, that's a nice knife right there. It's a couple $100. I mean, so it's probably a little out of my league right now, but I'd like to have a knife like that. She didn't say a word. And when it showed up and I opened it, I was blown away that it was the knife that was there. And she laughed. She was like, man, I can't tell you how much I appreciated the fact that you pointed that knife out and you said how much you liked it. When you stopped on it, I was so afraid you was going to say that you didn't like it or that it was ugly. And she was like, when you said how much you liked it and you went on and on about it, I was so relieved, and I knew that I had hit a home run. And she did. It was an absolute home run. And I love this knife. That is my most sentimental knife. And if something happened, God forbid, and I had to run out the house for one reason or another, and I had to grab one knife that I was taking with me, and it was the only knife I was going to be able to keep, this is it. Like, this is right next to my Bible. I'm grabbing it and running, and this is the other thing. I'm grabbing this, and this is the one thing that I'm going to save. It's a very important knife to me, and so it's sentimental. I hope you guys have a knife that's sentimental to you. If you do, leave a comment in the section. Tell us all about it. Other people read the comments too. Tell us what your knife is, why it's sentimental to you. I'd love to hear that story. I would love to hear about the most sentimental knife that you guys have. The next category is, what knife do I have that I've got the most carry time? What knife do I have that I've absolutely worn out with my pocket time? I've got a lot of knives that I try to rotate through and stuff like that, but for a long time, I didn't have the collection that I have now. So I didn't have the numbers that I had to choose from that I do now. And the number one knife that I have that still to this day gets a lot of pocket time, no question, is the Cold Steel 8010. You can even see on here the blade is all dirty, and it's got tape marks on it and everything else. I thought about cleaning it off, but it's the wears and tears of the knife, and that gives it its character and its patina, and I don't want to take that away from it. I love this knife. It has the famous triad lock system that Cold Steel is known for. It's, in my opinion, it's the best locking system in the knife industry. Maybe not the easiest or the best looking or the flashiest or anything like that, but when it comes to just durability and reliability, it's hard to beat that triad lockback system. This sucker, they have done tests where they've tried to make that thing fail, and it don't fail. This thing is awesome. It's got S35V in steel. It's heavy. It's big for my hands. You all know, you all watch my videos, you know how much I like the big bulky knives because I've got big bulky hands. And this knife I have used for everything. I mean everything. I've done so much with this knife. It's hard to think of something I haven't done with this knife. Everything from food prep to when I have been out camping with my boys, using it, different things like that. When I was taking and carving down their marshmallow sticks, doing it with, I've just done everything with this. Boxes, cutting string off of clothes, everything under the sun. I've gotten so much pocket time with this. It'll be hard for any knife that I have to get anywhere near the pocket time that this thing has. I love the Cold Steel AD10. The AD15 is awesome. It's a really good knife. I like the AD15 a lot. I like the Demco AD 20.5s. Those are really nice. The sharks with the shark locks and stuff like that. Those are really, really nice. But none of them come close to the AD10. This knife is far and away, hands down, twice the knife in size and weight and just in every other category, in my opinion, than those other ones, the AD15 and the AD 20.5. I love this knife, and this knife by far has my most pocket time. It is fantastic. I love that knife. Now, what knife is the most fidgety? What knife do I jerk out and I play with and it just go to town? Anybody who watch my videos, I've talked about it. I am not a good thumb flipper. I can't flip knives, and unless they've got a flipper tab that I can mess with, I'm just not very good at it. You know, people that use the thumb holes and they pop that sucker right up, I'm not that dude. I can't do it. I struggle with them. Front flippers, I just don't even try. I'm the worst. But there is a knife that's extremely fidgety, and I do fidget with it. And I've showed this knife to you all before. This is not a new one to the channel. I love this knife. It is the large Pyrite by CJRB with its button lock. This thing is so fidgety. I mean, it is just fidgety, fidgety, fidgety. It's loose and on bearings, and it's just, I mean, this thing is so fidgety. I just sit there and I can play with this thing for hours and hours and hours. And I mean, it's just fidgety as heck. The action is phenomenal. This thing is crazy good. Now, it's the large Pyrite. It's on titanium handles. It's got the CJRB's RPM 9 steel. It's their powdered steel that they're, you know, known for, that they make their knives out of. But this thing it's a good sized knife. It's a big one, and it's got a big blade. I mean, that's not small by any means. That's a large knife right there. A large knife. I think that's even larger than, yeah, it's even longer than the 8010. I mean, and that 8010 it's barely longer, but it is longer. But nowhere near as bulky or as heavy. But titanium handles, on bearings, button lock. This thing is fidgety as heck, and I love this thing. I got my dog Nook, as you all know, and I take Nook out all the time. And when I'm going out, you know, and I'm just wanting to have something to fidget with while I'm sitting there walking the dog, I'll take this thing and just fidget away. I know all my neighbors, as they drive down the street and in the houses all around and stuff like that, they're sitting there watching, which most of them know I collect knives and stuff like that, but because I talk to them, but they're all looking at me like, what is this dude out there doing? But that's my most fidgety knife by far. By far. I've got other ones that are fidgety, but that one hands down far and away. The next category was most surprising. What knife did I get that I wasn't expecting a whole lot out of? And when I got it, it kind of really surprised me and blew me away. Just blew me away. It was not what I expected. Either it was worse than I expected and it ended up being garbage, or it was way better than I expected and it ended up being pretty daggone cool. And that one was an easy one for me as well. And it is the Civivi, not the Wii version, but the Civivi Vision FG. Now this is also a really fidgety knife. This could have been the fidgety one too. I mean, this is a super fidgety knife. But the reason I got this and it blew me away so much, number one, I got some Civivi knives and some of them are all right, but I'm just not impressed with Civivi that much. I'm not impressed with the Elementum as much as everybody else is. I've got a ton of them. I like Sencut more than I do Civivi, to be perfectly honest. I'm more impressed with the Sencut knives than I have been with the Civivi. And I know most of them you can get the same model in Wii, Sencut, and Civivi. Just like this, you can get this in the Wii or the Civivi. But when I got it, it was better looking in person than I thought. It feels better in the hand. It's more solid and bulky and strong. Most of the Civivi knives that I have, they feel kind of light and real, yes, nimble and stuff. They're not bulky and heavy, but I don't like that real light, nimble, timid. I call it a timid feeling in your hand. And a lot of knives that are really light and they just don't feel like they're there. Almost, it's a timid feeling for me. I don't have a lot of confidence in grip. And this knife is not that way. It's got its steel liners. It's got that big, thick steel locking system. It's heavy. It's bulky. The Damascus steel with its reverse Tonto tip is gorgeous. Gorgeous. It's got ivory G10 handles, dual thumb studs. It's really fidgety. I mean, all the way around, this thing blew me away. When I got it out of the box, I knew immediately, just as soon as I opened it and put it in my hands, I knew how much I was going to like this knife. And I was shocked. I was mainly getting it because it was a Civivi, and because I have a lot of Civivs, and I knew I wanted to do this, and those are popular knives, and I just wanted it. And just to build a collection, just to be perfectly honest. I hate to say it like that. I didn't buy it for any specific purpose. I just bought it to build the collection, and it was one of there was a bunch of CVVs to choose from, and none of them caught my eye. This was the one that looked the most appealing, and I was going to give it a shot. And man, this knife has absolutely blown me away. This knife is about I think it was like $116 when I bought it. I think right now you can get it for less than 90 bucks. And it's on bearings, ivory G10, deep carry pocket clip that is reversible, Damascus steel, dual thumb studs. That lock, that shark lock, is excellent. It's real fidgety. It's a real good looking knife, But that's the knife that absolutely blew me away. Just shocked me. I couldn't believe it. And I still can't believe how much I like that knife. I was not expecting to. The next knife, it's actually funny because this knife is one of those situations where somebody talked to me about a knife. He's like, hey, have you ever heard of this knife, or look or consider this knife? I was like, dude, you have no idea. I've talked about that knife several times on my channel. Look at my videos and stuff. And then he did see it, and he was like, yeah, that's crazy. The best budget knife that I have, hands down, far and away. I've got budget knives that cost more than this. I've got budget knives that cost less than this. This is hands down the best budget knife, in my opinion, on the market. It is the Rook P801. In my opinion, now there's other knives out there, budget knives, that are better in one way or the other than this knife. But all the way around, in my opinion, this is the best budget knife on the market, hands down, no question. It's stainless steel handles. It's got 14C28 Sandvik steel. It's a frame lock. This isn't reversible, but it's a deep carry pocket clip. It's got the blue hardware accents that just pop against it. It's gorgeous. I mean, this thing is nice. The action is phenomenal. I mean, it's just really good action. This thing for, what is it, $40? This thing is just, I call it the poor man's Sebenza, and that's what it looks like. I've got a Sebenza, I'll talk about it here in a second. I mean, look at that. It looks like a poor man's Sebenza. And this thing is less than $40. Now, somebody on this channel, I won't say who because I don't want to draw attention to them if they don't want it. But somebody that watches this channel, I shouldn't say on this channel, but somebody who watches this channel that comments a lot, they actually got it in. They ordered it, and they was talking to me, and they agreed with everything I said, and thankfully they agreed to the hype. I saw this on Knife Center when they was doing one of their knife shows, and they said that if this was an American-made knife, that it would be between $100 and $150, and I hands down agree. I cannot believe that this knife is as cheap as it is. Well, cheap is a bad word. This is not a cheap knife. It is a very good knife. It's an affordable knife. I can't believe how affordable this thing is. It's less than $40, and you get so much with this knife. I mean, so much. It is gorgeous. When I say it feels good in the hand, it feels great in the hand. Sandvik C1428N steel for less than $40. Steel handles, frame lock, less than $40. Deep carry pocket clip, dual thumb studs, the blue accents that pop on it and just look excellent. I mean, it looks awesome. It feels awesome. I mean, this knife, the action is good. It's rugged and thick and sturdy, but also nimble and sleek and sharp. I mean, it's extremely sharp. It's a razor blade. I mean, there's just so much going for this knife. If you are looking for a good budget knife and you don't have a lot of money to spend, but you want a knife that's just going to give you the most bang for your buck by far and away, this knife right here is the knife that you need to get. If you want to get some Christmas presents for people this holiday season, you want to get some knives, you've got 5 or 6 guys or gals in your Christmas list that you're wanting to buy for, and you're trying to come up with a really good gift idea, something that's not too expensive, but something that's going to be broad and appeal to a lot of people, this is an excellent idea right here. The Rook P801. It is phenomenal. It's the best budget knife I've got, hands down. Hands down. The next category, the very first expensive knife that I got. Now, I had some knives that cost $100, $150. You know, I'd started getting some nice knives at this point. But the very first knife that I got that cost some money. Now, it might not be like serious money to some people, but for me and my budget, this is serious money. It is the Zero Tolerance Hinderer 0562 carbon fiber. This knife, I don't even know what to say about this knife. I was watching a lot of videos and because it was going to be my very first $350 that I was going to spend on one knife, and I wanted to get the most that I could, and I didn't know anything about knives or the different options out there or which ones was the best or going to have the best materials, or because I was still new to the game and I was still learning. So I watched all these different videos, I read all these different blogs. What's the best all-around knife? What's the number one all-around knife? What's the number one knife you can get for this money? And almost to the video or to the blog, every single one, this was the one knife that every one of them listed. The other knives would be scattered. This video would name a bunch of knives and this one. This video would name a bunch of knives and this one. But across the board, this was the one knife that was named by all of them almost. Almost every single one of them named this knife right here. It's like, I think for like 2 or 3 years, it was voted as the best all-around knife on the market. All the way around, the best knife on the market. This won like all kinds of prizes, or not prizes, but awards and stuff. Prizes is a horrible, it's like, sounds like you're in a raffle or something. But it won a bunch of awards and a bunch of surveys and stuff like that. It was voted on. I mean, this knife. And as soon as I got it in, I saw why. I mean, titanium frame lock, deep carry pocket clip. It's not reversible. It's tip up only. It's on KVD or KVT bearing. Carbon fiber handle or scales on one side. Titanium frame lock on the other. And even the liner is titanium. 20 CV steel for the knife blade, so that's some really good knife steel. Excellent edge retention. The action is fidgety. Now I'm going to tell you one of the things that I like about this knife is I like thumb studs. I like dual thumb studs. But the one thing that I wish thumb studs would not be so, I like aggressiveness and stuff like that. I like aggressive jimping and different things like that. But sometimes the thumb studs are just too long, in my opinion. Sometimes they need to be, depending on the blade shape and the way that it configures to the handle and the scales. There might not be room for them, so you really got to have longer thumb studs. Sometimes it's just necessity. But sometimes they're just too long. Too bulky, different things like that. This has thumb studs they're dual thumb studs, but they're really short. They're really compressed, so they don't stick out very much. They're there if you need them, but they're smooth. They're not too, gawky or anything. This knife I paid, I think at the time, it was over $300. I think it was like $320 or something. I think right now you can get it on Blade HQ and Knife Center for about $290, $292, something like that. But this was the very first knife that I got that was some serious money. And man, I have loved this knife. I have never really carried it pocket time and stuff. I mean, I have, but not a lot. And even when I did, I would be too afraid to use it because it was so expensive and I was new to this and I just didn't have anything that cost that much money. So I didn't want to scuff it up. I didn't want to scar it and mar it. I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to take the risk of dropping it. I didn't want to take the risk of leaving it somewhere or losing it or something. I was just too paranoid and nervous. Now not so much. Now I'll take a knife, I don't care what it costs, and do it. But that just comes with experience and with time and getting used to it and different things. But this was the very first knife that I had that was some serious money. It's the Rick Hinderer carbon fiber zero tolerance 0562. And man, this is a sweet, sweet knife. Look at that blade. Look at that grind. That is gorgeous. That thing is sweet. I love this knife. I love this knife. Still love this knife. This is one of those knives that's really sentimental to me because it was my first big knife. I mean, it can't hold a candle to this knife as far as sentimental goes, but it's close. Now, what's my most expensive knife? This is kind of a lie. I'm gonna be honest. I got one knife that's more expensive, but it's not here. It's locked away somewhere because it is so expensive. But it is my Chris Reeves Sabenza Forever Flag with its titanium handles, frame lock, Magna Cut steel. I wanted the large Sabenza, no doubt. I wanted the large Sabenza, but they're always sold out. Always. I just couldn't find one. If I could have found one, I'd have got it. I wouldn't have cared what it cost me. I was going to get it. And I just couldn't get it at the time. I couldn't find it. And since then, I just haven't had that kind of money to spend on one particular knife. So I haven't, even tried to find another one or on the second market or anything like that, secondary market. But this knife was $550. And I snatched it up. I had the money at the time because of a certain situation that I came into some money and I was able to get it, and I did. And man, I love this knife. I am so proud of this daggone knife because it's a Sabenza. All you got to do is say Sabenza, and knife owners and knife lovers and knife collectors around the world, their ears perk up. Sabenza, Sabenza, Sabenza. It's almost like that mythical creature that you just, when you speak of it, it's got a level of, it's just got an aura to it. I hate to talk like that about a daggone knife because at the end of the day, it's just a knife. There are people in this world starving to death, and on the grand scheme of things, it's just a knife. So I love the knife, and I'm proud of the knife. If you are going to have those kind of things and spend that money, then at least be proud of it, be grateful, be gracious, be appreciative. Don't take it for granted. And that's where I am. So that's what I mean. I don't mean to sound braggadocious or anything like that about having a knife like this that costs this, because I couldn't normally do this. I couldn't buy this knife right now if I wanted to. I don't have that kind of money. But in that situation that I was in, I just had the money, and I knew that was the only time I was going to be able to do it. So I snatched it up while I could, and I took advantage of the opportunity that was given to me. And I love this knife. And I will have a large Sabenza one day. You can bet it. And I ain't coming off my knives. I'm not trading them. I'm not selling them. I'm not getting rid of them. I will have this knife on the day I die. I promise you that. The day I die, this knife will be in my collection going to my kids. I ain't getting rid of none of my knives. I appreciate them and love them that much. Now, what is the most well-built knife that I've got, and I'm rounding these out. The most well-built, well-made, just, it's the best overall quality knife that I've got. For me, it comes down to two knives, so this is the only time that I put two knives in there. There's one that's the winner, and then there's one that's right below it. And the crazy thing is, they're both Italian-made knives. You all have seen this first one before. It's the Hero. The MKM Hero. Bowler in 390 steel. You know, the bolsters, look at that, polished bolsters. Deep carry pocket clip. This thing is, it's on washers. It's got the crowned edge up here at the top. And I tell you all, every time I go over this knife, this right here, oh, that sound is so epic and satisfying. That is the best. I've got a ton of lockbacks. This is the best lockback sound. Clicking into place. God, that's just so awesome and satisfying. This knife is a tank. It is so well built, and you can just feel it when you get it. I mean, yes, it's expensive, so you expect it, but it's an Italian-made knife. So you definitely expect that. And this knife is just, I can't put it into words how well built it is. You know, I don't know what it takes, honestly, to make a knife like this. But whatever it is that it takes, they're good at it. I'm going to tell you that right now. This knife is excellent. It is beautiful. It feels good. It feels rugged and strong and powerful. It's massive. It's razor sharp. This is one that'll give you stitches if you're not careful. It's so sharp. But the other Italian-made knife is the same exact way, razor sharp. It'll cut the crap out of you if you're not careful. But this is a knife that, even though it's big and massive like this, it has this look that's not tactical or gaudy or anything. So I'd carry this into a wedding. I would carry this into an office setting. Wouldn't carry it into a bank or nothing like that. But you know, I'm not stupid. But I would carry this anywhere because it just has that look. It looks like nice class and quality, and it is. Trust me. It's the MKM Hero. Every time I get it out, I want to start singing that daggone song. I can be your hero. Yeah, never mind, I cannot sing, but it is what it is. I love this knife. I love it. It's a great knife, and that's another knife that I'm really I'm grateful and thankful to own. I'm so appreciative. I thank God every day that He's given me the ability to do this, to be a dad and have the life that I live, and I'm already blessed beyond words. I have the best kids. My older two, one's working on getting a doctorate in neurobiology, and one's in the military doing some cool stuff, kind of stuff I can't really talk about, but he watches my videos, so he'll know, he'll laugh about this. But I got a kid that doing the kind of stuff that he's doing some cool stuff. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. So I'm really proud. But so to be able to have these knives and to be blessed and stuff like that, I really am appreciative. And I hope that you guys are just as grateful for the knives that you have. Pride of ownership is super important. If you do not, there's a story about this woman that she moves into this town or into this house, and it's a rundown house, and it's in a poor neighborhood, and the neighbors are always out seeing her. She's always out planting flowers and trying to have gardens, but the house is falling apart, and she's real poor, and she has a very humble life. She's always out doing these things, and her neighbors come up and it's like, why do you keep doing that? No matter how many flowers you plant, your house is still going to look like your house looks. You're still living where you live. And basically, I can't remember exactly what her response is in this story, but it's a story about appreciation and stuff. And she basically says, but this is my house. What kind of a person would I be if I did not try to make my house better and the most that it could be? And that's the way I want to feel about everything in my life. And I hope that you do too. What would I be if I did not appreciate and be grateful and thankful for the things that I own? But I get off my soapbox. The other knife in this category that is well built is the Lion Still Mito. The Lion Still Mito, let me tell you, this is also a knife that could have shocked me the most, because I knew that it was good and next quality because of everything I'd heard and read about it, but I did not really understand how next level the manufacturing on this knife is. Like, for instance, it's a frame lock, a titanium frame lock, Bowler M390 steel. And I'll tell you something I struggle with a lot of times on frame locks. I put too much pressure on the locking part right here of the frame. And what happens, and you might do this too, what happens is when you do that, you can't open the knives because it sticks. Not with this knife. You can put all the pressure on that sucker you want and it's still going to open smooth because it's so well made. Carbon fiber, titanium frame lock, deep carry pocket clip. It is so elegant and chic and beautiful. I mean, this knife is constructed so well. The engineering, but I don't, like I said in the last knife, I don't understand the engineering behind this kind of stuff. I'm not that smart and intelligent. I went to college, but I basically wasted my time there. So I don't know how they make these things, but I'm going to tell you right now, whoever does, they're good at what they do. They know what they're doing. This is an excellent, excellent made knife. And those are my two most well-built knives that I have, by far, is the Italian-made knives. Now, you notice I didn't put any fixed blades in this. This was just all folders. I could have, but the fixed blades, like, there was going to be a couple that y'all have seen before that was no questions because I like them so much, so I didn't want to do that. What is my favorite knife that I own? Just my favorite. I love this daggone knife. I love it. It's not my most sentimental. It's not the most expensive. Not the most fidgety, although it is real fidgety, but just all the way around, it is my favorite daggone knife that I own. No question, hands down. It is the Mordax by ProTech. This knife is cool. This is a cool knife, which ProTech, I've told you guys before, ProTech is my favorite brand. Spyderco is my second favorite. I've got a lot of Spydercos and a few ProTechs. And again, this is real fidgety. S45VN blade, aluminum handles, deep carry pocket clip. It's not reversible, it's tip up carry only. I'm telling you, man, this is ProTech and this is craftsmanship at its finest. I love this knife. This is my favorite knife, hands down, far and away. I love this knife. I'm talking about just for the knife of it, for all that it is and everything, not because it's the best made or anything like that, just because I just like it. You know, what it is about it, whether it's just that it's ProTech, that it's fidgety, that the way that it looks tactical, and it's everything about it. The Mordax is cool. And this is a Blade HQ exclusive, by the way. I love this Mordax. If you have not tried out a Mordax or held one in your hand or opened one and played with it, or felt how sharp they are, or how tactical they feel. I mean, this thing. This is like, you know, God forbid I was ever in a situation where I need to pull out a daggone knife because I need to defend myself or something. Number one, I don't need a knife. But number two, I'm not pulling out a knife. I promise you that. But if I was going to pull out a knife to defend myself, I'm going to tell you I can't think of a better knife than the Mordax. This thing is awesome. I love the Mordax. It is my favorite knife, hands down. Hands down. And then my last knife, and this did go a little bit longer than I wanted to, but still, I ramble on about knives, guys. I apologize. I love these knives. My last knife that I wanted to show you guys is my most unique It could be whatever. It's just the most unique knife for one thing or another. And it was no question what this knife was. Anybody hungry? The Boker Weenie Warrior XXL automatic. Now this is also one of those knives. I don't regret buying it, but I would never buy this knife again. I bought it for the fact that my kids wanted it. You know, one got the Desert Warrior automatic, and the other one wanted the hot dog. They both wanted the Desert Warrior, but only one was going to get it. So since one got that, the other one wanted something different. So he wanted the hot dog one, and they didn't have the normal size, so I had to go with the XL, which is this one, and it's massive. He can't even hold it and open it because it jumps out of his hand. But I would never buy this knife again. Never buy it again. Do you see that? Watch how I open this. When I open this, watch the blade. When it hits, it wiggles back and forth. It's got horrible play in the blade. You see that? Really bad. Now, I don't know how to fix that. Don't know how to fix that. I'm not an engineer. Again, I can't fix that kind of stuff. A bunch of play in this. So this is just a conversation piece to me. It is a little sharp. It's D2 steel. It's aluminum handles. Now, I love the Boker Kalashnikovs, which is what this is. Boker Kalashnikovs, when you're talking about an automatic knife, you cannot talk about automatic knives without talking about Boker Kalashnikov. They are excellent, and they're budget friendly too. But they've gotten into doing some other things with the Boker Kalashnikov, like the Desert Warriors and now the Weenie Warriors. Now, if this was the normal size Weenie Warrior, I might like it a little bit more because it wouldn't be so gaudy and too big and have that play and stuff. But really, it has no tip, so what are you going to do with it? It's not going to be a good slicer because of all the paint and everything on it, so it's going to get hung up and things. Yes, it would be a slicer. That's really the only thing you could do. But this just doesn't have any purpose. There's no application to this knife at all. None. Just none. But it's a conversation piece, and my kid loves it, and that's more than anything. That right there is worth its weight in gold to me. Just the fact that it brings my kid joy, and he always says, "Dad, can I see my knife? Can I hold my knife, Dad?" And I allow him to get it out and hold it. You know, that's one of the things. Pride of ownership. And not just for me, but for my children. I want to teach them pride of ownership. It's yours. Take care of it. Own it. Be thankful for it. Enjoy it. You know, be proud of it. But also take care of it. Clean it. Wipe it off. Of course, supervised only. You know, if it was a knife that needed to be waxed or oiled, you know, well, not oiled, but that was a horrible thing to say, but waxed, then, or cleaned or whatever, that's, you know, I want them to be able to do that, and I want them to learn to do that for that pride of ownership that, you know, teaches them and it carries forward. But I know I've been on a soapbox a little bit in this video, guys, more than usual, and I apologize. Maybe not more than usual. Maybe you all are like, "Ah, this is you, man. This is just a typical video that you make." So if it is, either way, it is what it is. I appreciate it, guys. Thank you all for watching my videos. Thank you for watching the knives, the 10 knives, or 11 knives, I should say, that fit the different categories for me, all the way from my most sentimental to the most original and awkward. But, you know, thank you, guys. If you got anything out of this, if you liked the video, then send me a like, leave me a comment, tell me about some of your knives. I'd love to hear about them. Tell me about your most sentimental knife. That's the one thing I really want to know the most about, guys. Tell me your most sentimental knife and why that has value or meaning to you. Even if you don't own it anymore, you might have lost it, it got stolen, it got damaged and broke, you lost it in a river when you was fishing with your grandfather, whatever. You moved and it, you know, got left behind, whatever. Maybe your car got repoed and it was in the car and you lost that daggone knife and now you can never get it back. Tell me about a knife that has the most sentimental value to you. I'd love to hear that story, guys. But other than that, like always, guys, I'm Chris, the Unprofessional Dad. I thank you for your time. And until the next time, like I always say, keep your lives full and your blades sharp. And remember also, it's free to be kind. Be kind to somebody. Thank you, guys. I'll see you next time.